Here's a really efficient, short, pre-ice warm-up routine that you can do, especially good for young goaltenders. Sometimes you think that it's only the higher level goaltenders that spend a lot of time in their preparation and everything, but as a young goaltender you want to take some really good time to build some habits, and one of those important habits is getting ready for practice and games. It all starts with a really good warm-up, physically and mentally. It helps the body and the mind prep for what's going to happen in the upcoming performance. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a pretty short warm-up. We can make this really elaborate, but we're going to do the basics that'll help you prevent injury, get your body warmed up, activate some muscles, a little bit of corrective exercise so you don't get hurt, but some things basically to help you on the ice. All you need initially is a foam roller, and if you haven't foam rolled before, we're going to go through a lower body circuit right here. I'll do a handful of repetitions each kind of movement, but the reps and the sets will be outlined as well for you. But this will be a good visual for how to properly warm up if you've never been kind of exposed to a good warm up before going on the ice. So for starters, we're going to use a foam roller, and we're going to start with lower body. And we have one leg on the roller, right on my calf muscle. The other leg crosses over. And all I'm going to do is roll up and back on my calf. My hips are off the floor. I can angle my leg to hit different parts of my calf muscle. And then we'll switch sides. One leg on, one leg crosses, hips come up. And there's our first one. Our second one, we're going to do our hamstring muscles behind our leg. We're going to have one leg on again. Cross, we're going to isolate one leg, and same thing, we're just going to roll. It's going to get the blood flowing a little bit. It's a good low intensity way to start our warm up. A little bit of injury prevention benefit with it as well, so we don't pull anything. Same thing, other side, cross the leg. Try to find anywhere that might be a little bit tender. Those are the areas we want to focus on specifically. And then from there, we're going to do the side of our hips. So I'm going to put the roller right underneath where my left back pocket is. Roller's on my left side. I'm going to cross my left leg. I'm just going to roll up and back on my side glute, which is basically just the back pocket area. So I get a roll and a bit of a stretch at the same time. There, same thing other side. Put it on my right side, cross my right leg, almost like I'm crossing my leg like I'm sitting in a chair. And then roll back and forth. So from here, we're going to do the front of our legs. So I'm going to have my leg on one side is on the roller, my leg on the other side is off the roller. And all I'm going to do is go from the top of my kneecap up to my hip area. And same thing, just roll up and back. Now I can angle my leg a little bit, open up my leg, my hips rather, and get the groin area rolled out. And I can also rotate around and kind of roll the side of my leg as well. So same thing, other side. One leg goes on the roller, other leg is away from the roller. And we got 6 to roll, 8 rolls per body part. Next one, we're going to put the roller on your mid-back. We're going to pop your hips up. You can do 2 things. One, you can support your head a little bit, or you can cross your arms, which helps open up the muscles in your back so you can roll them a bit more. And just guide yourself with your legs. Mid-back, upper back, lower back. And that's about 3-4 minutes altogether. There's more rolls that we can do, but for a young goaltender, that's a great start to initial part of the warm-up. And we call that our prime. So we're priming our body before we start performing. So after you've rolled out with the sequence I showed earlier, we're going to go through an 8-part flexibility activation warm-up. That's going to be the second part to a really good warm-up before you get on the ice. All you need initially is a mini band. The blue ones are a little bit heavier, a little more tension. The red ones are a really good band to initially purchase because they got a little bit less tension. They're good for a younger goaltender. So Tyler's going to put the band around his ankles. And this first one is a monster / lateral band walk. And the whole idea is we can develop more power and more speed when we have really good stability. So that's a foundational base. So this simple little drill, it's going to get Tyler's side hips stronger and activated. So we're going to wake those muscles up and get them stronger, and then we can do more speed and power development later on. So what we're going to do is lateral band walk first. Going to step side to side. His feet are always going to be that big gap. He's always going to have tension in the band. And then side to side, then he's going to go forward and back. All the hip muscles are getting warmed up, getting activated. And then that's our first one. That's our lateral band walk / monster walk. From here, we're going to come down to the floor. We'll be lying down, and we're going to do a glute bridge with the mini band as well around the bottom of the knees. So the whole purpose of this is when the band's right below the knees, we're going to lie down flat, really simple stuff. We're going to take a really big belly breath. Tyler's going to think about squishing a bug underneath his back, so he doesn't have a big curve. He's got a pretty flat back. And then he's going to get his abs flexed, so abs are tight, and he's going to bridge up. Good. He's just going to do a little self-check. Tap the glutes, make sure his butt muscles are tighter. Tap the core, make sure that's tight. And all he's going to do at the very top is going to push his knees out to the side. Knees come in, and then hips go back down. So big breath in, get tight, push the knees out, knees in. Good, and we'll do one more. So same idea, the side of the hips are going to wake up, they're going to get stronger, and that's a really good balance builder for when we move on the ice. So that's our second one. Our third one, we're going to use the mini band again. I'm going to put it right around your toe box, right around your feet. And same idea, we're going to use the mini band to full advantage and really strengthen our hips up. It's a really important area for goaltending. So we're going to do initially the same setup. So back is flatter, core is tight. Take that big breath. He's going to push one leg out and then back. Now the whole idea when we first set this drill up, this band push-apart drill, the big key is we got to keep these knees close to the chest. It really defeats the purpose, and the right muscles don't work if the knees are over here. So we got to keep these knees to the chest, above 90 degrees in the hip. Big breath, exhale, push it out, and then back. And it's good to do all the reps on one side first, and we'll do both sides. So same idea, big breath, squish the bug so the core is tight, and then we're really going to spread that band apart, knee to the chest, and leg goes out. So that's our third one. Our fourth one is going to be without the band. It's a really good drill for opening up the hips, especially for goaltending in terms of getting a wider butterfly. So we're going to be lying on the back again. Feet are about shoulder width apart. We've done a video for this before as well, so we'll go feet actually even a little wider. And then just relax basically the entire body. We're going to bring the knees in together. This is our lying knee to knee pull, and the knees come back out. So if you got really tight hips, your feet are going to be closer together. Knees touch a little bit, and then back. So you're going to feel that on the back side of the hips. Really simple little drill, but it's great for opening up the hips and getting a wider butterfly when it's needed on the ice. So there's our lying knee to knee pull. From here, we're going to get onto our knees, and we're going to do a really good groin stretch. It's called the split stance adductor. So the game plan for this one is we're going to shoot one leg out. You can have that leg straight, hands are on the floor, and then what Tyler's going to do is have a nice straight back. So we don't want to curve our back, rounded. We don't want to arch our back, but it's nice and neutral, nice and straight. Get that good groin stretch on both sides, and all we're going to do is rock back and rock forward. So nice and controlled. It shouldn't be fast, nice and controlled. And that way everything stays stationary. We can really work on that groin flexibility. So same stretch. Here's what it'll look like from the side angle. So you notice back is nice and straight. We're going to rock back. There's no change in really the body position. It's just moving our hips and getting a really good groin stretch. So there's our split stance adductor. Our next one is a more of a dynamic movement. It's a lunge rotation to hamstring. So what we're going to initially do is use a foam roller, and we're going to be in a stride position. Now we're going to set up, you notice that the foam roller is right basically in line with the heel. So the arms are inside the leg. This back leg is straight. We've got that posture set, and we'll show you a different angle as well. But there's 3 parts to this one. So here's our setup. Our part number 2 is going to drop your left elbow as low as you can. Part 3 is a big shoulder turn, keeping the hips low, eyes follow the hand. And then next part is coming up, high hips. Try to get both legs straight so we get that good hamstring stretch. And then we'll come back down. And we'll show you what it looks like from the side as well, so you get a better visual. So we got the hands in line with the ankle. Back is nice and straight. Now most people, young athletes, when they do this drill, it's good to use the roller, but if you have really good flexibility, then you can put your hands on the floor. The biggest thing though is if Tyler goes without the roller for a second, usually what happens with most people is the back really rounds, and that takes away from the benefit from the stretch. So if you try it on the floor and your back is rounding quite a bit, let's just use the roller again. And if you don't have the roller right with you, just use something to pop your hands up. So now you know it's a big change. You got that nice straight back. Hips are low, that back leg is straight, that knee is off the floor, that toe is dug in. So there's our first setup, and then we'll do the same thing. We'll drop that knee, or drop that elbow rather. Big shoulder turn, and then high hips, and we got that good stretch. So there's our lunge rotation for hamstring, really full body, really good full body stretch. From here, we're going to work on the hips a little bit. We have a cradle walk. We're going to challenge the balance a little bit as well. So what's going to happen is Tyler's going to grab one ankle, bring his knee up, he's going to hang out, he's going to squeeze his glutes, he's going to get his chest up, and he's going to get a really good stretch on the outside of his hips. Okay? And then he's going to switch sides. Now we can do this a couple ways. If you find that you're short on space, you can just do it in the same spot. If you find that your balance is really being challenged, you can do a couple things. You can get close to the wall. And that way, if you lose your balance a little bit, you can just touch against the wall, regain your balance, and then come back. The whole idea is to get that foot up nice and high, keep your chest up tall, and squeeze your glutes as you pull your leg up. So there's our cradle walk. The last one we're going to do, number 8 in our movement series, is a quad stretch to overhead reach. So we're going to loosen up the quads and get a little bit of extension in our back. So again, we're going to challenge the balance a little bit. Going to grab one leg, get that traditional quad stretch right here, reach overhead, and then we'll switch. So pull that knee behind, arm overhead. And again, we're challenging the balance as we warm up and get a little more active. So there's our 8-part movement prep or warm-up. It's the second part of a really solid warm-up for everyone on the ice. Takes 3-4 minutes. It's full body, it's some corrective exercise so we don't get injured, and that actually helps us become more athletic as we're warming up as well. Alright guys, the third part to our warm-up is going to be more movement based, and we're going to work on a few things in a small space. So now we can get our heart rate up a little bit, get our muscles warmed up, get the blood flowing. First one is a lateral bound. Tyler's going to cross his hands so he can keep his upper body really quiet when he's moving. He's going to load his leg, and he's going to bound to the side, and he's going to stick his landing. So really important that we work on stability. So for a younger goaltender, this is going to be a challenging drill because what's going to happen is when you jump, it's going to be pretty unstable. So if it takes 3, 4, 5 seconds to stabilize, to get perfectly still, take that time, work on that balance, and then jump again. And then once you get more proficient and your balance is really solid and you can stick that landing quick, then we can do it with a little more speed. There we go. So the whole idea is that the upper body stays still. We can basically work on our lateral power and our balance when we go side to side. Second one is we're going to do quick hips. It's a good little drill for getting our hip muscles working, fired up, which is important for recovering on the ice. So the initial setup is shoulders are going to be square facing forward. You notice that Tyler's feet and his hips are basically square to myself. So shoulders are always square, hips are facing this way with his feet. And all he's going to do is he's going to quickly switch. His shoulders still stay square, but now his hips and his shoulders are facing the other way. And he's going to switch, and then switch, and then switch. So the whole idea, hands stay nice and calm like we would on the ice when we're moving. The hips are going to rotate fast. And one more, switch. And it's a good drill to get the lower body and the upper body working together. Last drill, a little bit more space is needed. This is our T drill. We're going to get a little more dynamic now that we're at the end of our warm-up. We're going to get into a pattern where we're going to start into an athletic stance. Going to quick feet up, brakes on, go to the side, so it's lateral shuffle over to the other side, and then repeat and return back to where you was. So we can do that nice and slow initially, but then once you get the pattern down, then we'll add some speed and stay nice and square with our body. Okay. And one more. Perfect. So depending on how much space you have, you can kind of dictate on the size of the drill. But those are 3 really good power type speed orientated drills that will finish off your warm-up. Total time maybe 10-15 minutes tops, and you're ready to rock and roll on the ice. And then whether it's practice or a game, you're prepped, primed, and ready to go. So give that a try, and you'll definitely notice some really good improvement in terms of your preparation before you go on the ice.